Hey guys, this is John of AMC Movie Talk.
And you got your boy Ice Cube from the new movie 22 Jump Street.
We want to remind you that his new movie opens June 13th in AMC theaters everywhere, and you can get your tickets now at amctheaters.com.
Get the tickets now, baby. It's funny. We got Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum. Look, we added a digit. It's 22 Jump Street. It's that much funnier. That means it's different than the first one. Go see the damn movie. It's at AMC, y'all.
What he said.
Hey everyone, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm Chrisley Kennedy, and this is the show where we bring you the day's biggest movie news, and of course we give you insight into what it all means. Joining me as always is AMC Movie News Editor-in-Chief, Mr. John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the internet, coming to you live from right here at the Stream.TV studios here in Hollywood, California. It was one hell of a weekend if you're a sports fan. I mean, we had that second overtime game, Go Kings Go. We had LeBron showing why he's the best player in the world. If you're a sports fan, it was an awesome weekend. I had a great time.
Not if you're a New York fan. It wasn't an awesome weekend. Just throwing that out there. We also have AMC Movie News Miri Jetikin.
I will be go Habs go till the end, but because I live in LA and the Habs are out of the series, I'm stoked about that game also.
And we have the director of the upcoming film, The Death of Superman Lives. What happened, Mr. John Schnapp?
Yeah, I don't know what these guys are talking about, sports or whatever. I was at Phoenix Comic-Con, yo, sweating it out with all you weirdo nerds. What's going on? That's my game.
The one with the ice and the stick, Schnapp. The ice and the stick. All right, the search for a director of the upcoming Marvel movie Ant-Man is now officially over. Over the weekend, Marvel announced that they have selected Yes Man, The Breakup, and Bring It On director Peyton Reed to helm the new superhero film. Marvel also announced that previous candidate Adam McKay will rework the existing script for the film. Production is still set to begin on the film next month and will hit AMC theaters everywhere on July 17th, 2015. John, what are your thoughts on hiring Peyton Reed to direct Ant-Man?
Nervous. I'm dubious. Yes Man. I didn't hate Yes Man. I didn't hate Yes Man. I didn't hate The Breakup. I didn't particularly like either of them either, and Bring It On is not, I'm not the demographic, so that's fine. So I'm looking at this. Remember before when we saw the potential list of directors, and this included Adam McKay.
Right.
And we said, I said the one problem I have with this is look, where's the Kenneth Branagh on this list? You know, where's the Jon Favreau on this list? Why are we only seeing directors who are the yuck comedy kind of guys coming on? This concerns me because I don't want one of these Marvel films to go completely in that direction. Now, that being said, I didn't say this, but I could have said this. I could have said the same thing when the Russo brothers were brought on to do Captain America 2. It's like, wait a minute, the guys who direct Community? The guys who directed You, Me, and Dupree? That's the guy? These are the guys you have doing Captain America 2? One of the best films of the year, one of the greatest comic book movies ever made, as it turned out. So maybe you can get these, unconventional directors, having them work under Kevin Feige and the brain trust of Marvel, and it can all work out just fine. McKay coming on to touch up the script, I'm actually more for that than having McKay direct it. I actually think he could really punch it up very nicely, considering his experience with Will Ferrell. So that's really cool. I'm just got to say, on the surface, this looks like, hey, we got Edgar Wright to direct it. Hey, we got Peyton Reed to direct it. And it feels that way, but it's looked that way before, and it's worked out just fine. Schnepp, you read the news. What did you think about it?
I'm into it, and here's why. It's the Upright Citizens Brigade. I worked on the series, the television series, back in the day.
And look how you turned out.
Well, also Peyton Reed also directed a bunch of those episodes from the first season, and Adam McKay was an original Upright Citizens Brigade. Yeah. So it's all coming together with those guys. So I think definitely Ant-Man, without a doubt, is a comedy. They're not shying away from saying it's going to be a comedy. It's going to be funny. So, and I think that's cool. It'll keep that edge to it, but I think it's going to be a really funny comedy film, which is cool for Marvel to try. They're going out into the cosmos with Guardians of the Galaxy. They're going to do a comedy with Ant-Man. Why not? And I think it makes sense to have Adam McKay touch up the script and kind of push it to where Marvel wants to go, but keep the humor. So, and I think Peyton Reed will be a great director for it.
Mary?
Yeah, Peyton Reed actually was supposed to maybe direct the Fantastic Four 12 years ago.
Before Tim Story did it, right? That's
disaster.
right.
So anyway, he averted that disaster. So he certainly isn't unfamiliar with the comic book world. So I think I'm trepidatiously optimistic for him. Adam McKay also coming in to touch up the script. He's been trying to get The Boys developed for years,
forever,
and they're in development hell with that. So these are two guys that actually probably do have a little bit of a background with the world of comics and maybe can approach it with heart and with knowledge. And I don't know, I'm always an optimist. I hope for the best.
Yeah. It is kind of creepy how similar, though, the situation is with Reed and the Russo brothers. I mean, it is pretty similar. All right, what's next?
Sticking with Marvel, last week it was announced that the upcoming Doctor Strange movie landed Sinister and The Exorcism of Emily Rose director Scott Derrickson, and now, according to reports, they may have their lead actor. Deadline reports that the short list of actors to play Stephen Strange is down to, I got so excited I choked, Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Hardy. No official confirmation about when Doctor Strange will hit AMC theaters, but the likely date seems to be July 8th, 2016. Schnepp, what do you think about Cumberbatch or Hardy for Doctor Strange?
Totally called it a couple weeks ago. I said Benedict Cumberbatch is Doctor Strange, what's up? But you know what? Tom Hardy, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. I was like, I see Tom Hardy now that he's Mad Max. I was like, come on, man, he's Mad Max. Don't make him Doctor Strange. But you were like, he was Bane. He's
going to be the Rocket Man. He's going to be Elton John.
Yes.
The same guy who's read that. The same guy who's Bane and Mad Max is going to be Elton John.
Yeah, he's an incredible actor. So in my mind, I was like, have Tom Hardy play Mordo. Bam, that would be incredible. So Benedict.
Mary, what do you think about these names?
Yeah, I like Benedict. I didn't love Tom Hardy's Bane, and I don't think it's entirely his fault. I just found the whole thing was very distracting. I don't know. Anyway.
Wait, do your Bane impersonation.
Sorry, that was so bad. I apologize to all of you that had to just witness that. I do like Benedict for the role because, I don't know, for some reason I associate Cumberbatch with like magic and neuroscience and intelligence. I just feel like these are the tentpoles of the Doctor Strange character, and I think I just see him in that. I can envision him, even in the crazy costumes. You know, there were so many different Doctor Strange costumes over the years, and I'd like to see him wearing like the crazy.
Right, the
there was
super
one where he
cloak.
had like I was just looking at pictures online, and there was one where he's like got this crazy like back thing. I don't know. What is it a collar?
It's like
on his cape?
it's a living cape.
Well, it's kind of there, but in the older versions of
way
Doctor
bigger.
Strange, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's like the 60s versions. I would love to see Benedict Cumberbatch wear one of those.
See, Cumberbatch for me isn't in that list of like,
magic,
brain science. He's more in that list of, the growing list of, men my wife would leave me for in a heartbeat. That's Benedict Cumberbatch. But you know what? And I would look, I'm going to love either of these names. If they actually sign one of these guys, and it is really down to these two, I'm happy with either of them. I might even just slightly go for Tom Hardy over Benedict Cumberbatch for this role. I don't know. This is intangible. I don't know why. That's just the one that I'm leaning towards. But don't get me wrong. Either one of these names, I think everybody will be thrilled with either of these guys. Yeah. Top-notch talent. They both have credit in this demographic of people. I think they both would suit this character fantastic. I'm all for it. This sounds great. All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show for buy or sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Chris Lee's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. Then Schnepp, Miri, and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Chris Lee, what do we got?
The weekend box office numbers are in, and I'm excited because The Fault in Our Stars was the big winner, taking the #1 spot with over $48 million, surpassing even the most optimistic projections it had. And the #2 spot was Maleficent, taking in $33.5 million, bringing its 2-week worldwide total up to over $335 million. In the #3 spot was The Edge of Tomorrow, making just over $29 million. And in the #4 spot is X-Men Days of Future Past, making $14.7 million, bringing its 3-week worldwide total to just under $610 million. Rounding out the top 5 is A Million Ways to Die in the West, making just over $7 million, bringing its worldwide total after 2 weeks up to $50 million. Mary, buy or sell these box office numbers?
Oh God, I have so much to say about this. How can I do this quickly? First of all, I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna buy it with the disappointment, the note of disappointment I have that Edge of Tomorrow didn't do better, because this was one of Tom Cruise's, I think, best reviewed performances in years, and I love him. And I love the fact that this was a sci-fi that was also an offbeat comedic genre film. I wish it had done better. It won the Critics' Choice Seal recently, which means that critics loved it. So that's a disappointment. However, I'm gonna buy these numbers because Fault in Our Stars, there's 2 things. #1, it's a small movie. It is a studio movie. This was done by 20th Century Fox, but it was a $12 million budget. It came out #1 and made 4 times its budget in one weekend, which is proof that a small movie in a season where it's all big tentpole movies can actually do really well and outperform its much bigger films. Edge of Tomorrow was a $175 million budget, made 1/6 of that. So Steven Spielberg, I think it was like a year or 2 years ago, had a big talk with George Lucas here in Los Angeles, and he said the summer blockbuster studio structure is breaking down. It doesn't work. It's not sustainable. This is proof. So that makes me really happy because I love small movies. I love all movies. I want to see diversity at the box office. So for me, this is very exciting. The second thing about it is obviously this was a female-driven film. There is a huge power in young women moviegoers that people are finally starting to notice. New York Daily News just came out with an article today that said, whereas big-budget, male-oriented action films with stars like Cruise have long ruled the day at North American multiplexes, those movies are increasingly under siege from films ignited by passionate young female moviegoers. So, hooray that there is something for those women. Chrysalie, yeah. I'm happy that there is room at the box office and that women came out, and young women, alarmingly mostly, came out with their dollars and said, this is what I want to see. That makes me happy because it just means that there's more for everyone, more movies for everyone to love.
Schnepp?
Well, I'm bummed out. I haven't seen either of the 3 top box office films. I haven't seen Fault in Our Stars, haven't seen Maleficent, and I have not seen Edge of Tomorrow.
You're a little busy in Phoenix.
Yeah, busy, and then I'm scrimping off overseas for.
Oh yeah. We're going to mention this. Schnepp's leaving for London tonight.
Yeah, for London. Can't talk about it, but you'll find out.
You'll find out why
Bang,
soon.
bang, scrambly scramps. So yeah, Edge of Tomorrow. I can't wait to see it. I want to see all these films. So I am bummed out. We had talked about Edge of Tomorrow's ad campaign being very similar to John Carter, where it was like confusing and weird and didn't actually show you how cool the movie was. So people are avoiding it because they're like, it looks like Oblivion and Matrix. You know what I mean? Because it does, but they're not showing you why it's cool and different in the ad campaign. So hopefully word of mouth, everyone talking about it, all the critics and people who've gone to see it. The people who went to see it were like, wow, I saw Edge of Tomorrow at Phoenix Comic-Con. Were like, it was really good. Like they were surprised that it was good.
Yeah.
So hopefully that word of mouth will build and hopefully it makes more money next week. But
yeah, overall, I got to sell the numbers, and not because of what's number one. Actually, it's really interesting that right now, here we are in the summer movie season, and the top 2 films at the box office are female-driven, female-led films, which I think is great for the industry as a whole. But, I mean, the disappointment of Edge of Tomorrow.
I know.
It is such a good movie. It is ridiculously good, and one of the most incompetent, botched, horrible marketing campaigns ever. And I was actually talking with a rep at Warner Brothers last night about this specifically. It's like, look, I love this movie. This movie's great, and I'm going to beat the drum for it. I'm going to try to get as many people to go see as possible because it's so good. But you just can't get away. No one was going to go see this movie after these trailers. This is not the end. Yeah, as soon as you put out a trailer that makes the movie look like it's some sort of existential, soaring into the universe of consciousness and questioning the meaning of reality, and you played that stupid music. Not that it's stupid music, but with this trailer, it was stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a dumb-looking film that nobody wanted to see, and then you see the movie, and it's like, this is not the same movie from these trailers. This is fun, it's funny, it's got great action, and none of that was communicated in the trailers.
Why do you think they did that? Why do you think they made that mistake? Because I feel like
stupidity.
Okay.
I'll mark it up to stupidity.
They make a lot of money for being so stupid.
Because you know what? I don't know if this was the same group that they quite often these studios will hire third-party people to run these campaigns. It has to be the same group that did the Oblivion campaign. Because the Oblivion, Mark, you and I talked about this, looked and felt exactly the same as this pile of garbage. But listen, if you're one of these people who you have not gone to see Edge of Tomorrow because of how bad the trailers look, number one, you're right, the trailers are horrible. But number two, believe this movie is awesome. And you will go see it multiple times. Get out and see it. The other thing that you have to sell because of it is Seth MacFarlane's Million Ways to Die in the West. His last film that he directed, Ted, made almost $700 million at the box office. We're in week number 2. I'm not quite sure what its North American number is, but its worldwide number is 50.
Yeah.
So it's a huge fall off the cliff for that. So that's too bad. I have, because of my schedule this weekend, I also have not seen Fault in Our Stars. Never underestimate a kids film. Yeah, I know. Never underestimate a kids film. Never underestimate for guys going to see a movie that's based on a toy they grew up with, and never underestimate a film for women that makes them cry. Those are the 3 universal rules of films. And clearly this one went out there and did it. I'm actually really happy for its success.
But I have to also point out that beyond it being female-led, female-driven, which is amazing for both of those 2 films, but Bring back the young adult. Like, this was a young adult book. This book was written for teenagers, and we've seen so many books adapted into films in the past 2 years that have done horribly, with the exception of a couple like Hunger Games and Divergent, that this was an amazing adaptation. People showed up in huge numbers, and it's one that can be loved by not only those teenage girls, but also their parents. So it's got that great balance of Hunger Games, and I think that's why it's doing so well.
And it proves that you can make movies for the young adult audience that aren't stupid.
Yep.
If you're gonna make, you don't have to make Vampire Academy to appeal to young adults. You don't have to make City of Bones. You don't have to make that to appeal to young adults. You can make something intelligent and smart, and young adults will love it.
John Hughes movies of the 80s. They spoke to that exact audience, Chrisley, that you're talking about, and they were funny and smart, and most importantly, they were relatable. To this day, teenagers watch The Breakfast Club and can relate, even though that was 30 years ago, which I think is awesome. So.
All right, let's get moving. We spent a lot of time on that.
Now that you've broken my heart, all right, actor Jeremy Renner has confirmed to Yoo-Hoo Movies that he is indeed returning for Mission Impossible 5, reprising his role as William Brandt. Renner joins the already confirmed Tom Cruise and Simon Pegg. The last Mission Impossible film was the most successful of the franchise, making nearly $700 million worldwide. John, buy or sell Renner returning for Mission Impossible 5?
I sell it within the context that he's returning with Tom Cruise still in the lead. Because remember, when he first joined Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, the whole setup was that he is going to inherit the franchise, that Mission Impossible films moving forward are going to be about Jeremy Renner's character as Tom Cruise moves on for it. Well, somewhere along the line, Tom Cruise knocked his head and thought, wait a minute, you know what would actually be a better idea? If I stayed with the franchise coming off our most successful film. And so he's coming back. So as long as it's Jeremy Renner, and don't get me wrong, I love Jeremy Renner. He can lead anything as far as I'm concerned. It just didn't feel like a good fit for Mission Impossible to me. So as long as he's joining still with a Tom Cruise-led Mission Impossible, I'm all for it. I think it's a buy, Schnepp.
Yeah, I'm totally going to buy it. I love Mission Impossible 4. Like, I've watched it like 5 or 6 times. It's on Netflix. I'm going to keep watching.
Great.
That Dubai scene is like,
oh my God,
stomach. You know?
I have a fear of heights.
Oh yeah.
So that scene for me,
cringing, weird. Like I always like no when he jumps.
Oh, it's so awesome.
Do it. So Brad Bird, awesome, and Jeremy Renner. You know what? For me, he's done this twice. Like also The Bourne.
Yep. Yeah. Stepped into the Bourne.
He was stepping in like, and now I would like to see him continue with The Bourne. I don't think
he is.
Is he?
Yeah, he is.
Okay. Well, I mean, is Damon coming back or he's not?
No, not yet.
All right. So that's more like a Renner type thing. This, I'm glad that Cruise is in it. I thought the chemistry with him and Renner was great, and Simon Pegg, all of them together. That's Mission Impossible to me. So I'm happy to see that he's returning, and I want to see another one as soon as they make it. So,
Mary?
Yeah, is Brad Bird directing this one also?
I don't think so.
I don't think he is, right? That's too bad,
no.
because I loved 4 like you. I thought it was so much fun. It kind of brought back what the first one did, which it had like that humor and the sass. I'll buy it just because I love the whole package of 4. I agree with you that it's going to really depend on how they implement his part into the plot, but who knows what they're going to do. So I buy it.
All right, what's next?
In a recent interview, director Guillermo del Toro revealed that he and X-Men The Last Stand writer Zach Penn have been working on a Pacific Rim 2 script for several months now. Legendary picture head Thomas Tull said that del Toro had some great ideas, and if the script turns out great, then the studio would be open to considering the sequel. Shanette, buy or sell that a Pacific Rim 2 could actually happen?
well, I buy it, but remember that he said we've been secretly, that's the one key word that you're leaving out, he's been secretly working on it with Zach Penn. So it's not like they were like, yeah, it's a go ahead, do it,
well,
do
Thomas
the script.
Tull knows it, so it can't be that secret.
No, but I'm just saying it wasn't like, it's a full, we're green-lighting it. It's more like, hey, just come up with a story. I think, no, we got the script. Everything they're talking about with the script sounds really cool. They're pushing the limits. They're going to go bigger, make it an even bigger spectacle. Mm-hmm. But what Tull was saying was like, hey, $400 million, it made us interested. We're not 100%. Like, you know, if Guillermo comes with an amazing idea, we love Guillermo. They're working on Crimson Peak with him right now. So Travis Beacham is doing another series, so that's why Zach Penn took up the screenwriting. Mm-hmm. So I'm all for it. You know I love Pacific Rim, so I can't wait to see another Robots versus Monsters movie. And Guillermo did such an amazing job. I hope they do a sequel, so it's good news for me.
Mary?
Is Guillermo going to direct it?
If he doesn't direct it, I will be very unhappy.
That is my one cat. I will buy it if he directs it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's all.
That's a huge thing. For me, I will buy that it's possible. Because remember, I said for a long time that Pacific Rim has got to, at minimum, cross that $400 million mark to even just for the remotest possibility. And I think it got to 411.
Yeah.
So it's there. But here's why I'm not going to get too excited about it. Tull has, he's already basically said no to Del Toro before. Del Toro wants to do Hellboy 3.
Right.
But Del Toro, if he's doing sequels, it has to be bigger, grander, bigger budget. And Tull said, that's nice. I'd love to see that movie. Like, in other words, I'm not going to make this movie for you. I'm not going to pay for it, but I'd love to see that movie. So remember, this guy, if Del Toro comes to him needing a bigger budget and a bigger, scope, which is his pattern, and what he says he likes to do, Tull ain't going to approve it. He's not going to okay it. He's a businessman first and foremost, and that's why Legendary does so well. So if Guillermo can, though, reel it in, make another one that feels grander, but keep it in that $180 to $190 million budget, then the possibility is very real.
Tull did mention, though, he said, even though it made $400 million box office-wise, all the ancillary, like the DVDs and the toys, are exploding. So they're already on, I think, their fourth wave of toys.
The toys have done better than I thought they would.
Yeah.
The toys have done quite well.
They finally got to Cherno Alpha. I have that. I finally got it. I was like, awesome. That weird, nuclear, helmeted, weird-looking guy. That one.
Figures.
Russian one. It's awesome.
All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a comment or a topic you would like us to bring up on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, every day we take a couple of questions from the Mailbag, but I want to let you know, if you're watching us live right now, and we do the show live every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can hop on Twitter and send in a couple of live questions, and we'll leave a couple of minutes at the end of the show to take your live questions via Twitter. Just tweet to us right now at AMC Movie News, and our gatekeeper, Chris Lee, will pick some questions out from there. But for now, let's get to the mailbag. So, Chris Lee, what's in there?
Andre writes, hey, movie talkers. I was wondering if you thought the summer box office was getting too crowded. With the exception of The Winter Soldier, it seems like most blockbusters aren't meeting their full potential with such stiff competition opening within days of each other. Thanks and keep up the great work.
No. The short answer to that question is no, because keep a couple things in mind here. X-Men Days of Future Past just crossed the $600 million plateau worldwide. It is now the biggest financial success of any X-Men film in history. We just saw a film like Fault in Our Stars. It's going to hit $50 million in the next 24 hours by itself. We see Maleficent already crossing like $300 million worldwide.
35.
Yeah, and as we've already talked about, the whole Tom Cruise Edge of Tomorrow has nothing to do with the crowded box office. It has to do with just terrible, terrible trailers that completely misrepresented the film. So, and then we're going to see 22 Jump Street, which is coming out this week. That's going to be big. How to Train Your Dragon 2 is going to be big. So, no, I think when you get into the summer movie season, that's when most people go to see the movies. But here's the other thing I keep trying to remind people of. When people go to a movie, and I think Captain America 2 helped X-Men Days of Future Past in this way. When people go to the movies, or anything, and have a really great time, what's the next thing you want to do? You want to go to the movies again.
Yeah.
So people go see Captain America 2, amazing. They went to go see Lego in February, amazing. They see X-Men Days of Future Past, amazing. They want to go back. It's like a first date, right? You go out with a girl. If she's amazing, the very next thing you want to do is go out with her again. So, I mean, that helps. And so, I don't think crowded becomes an issue. I think people really want to go to the movies. You see great movies, you want to go again. Mary?
Yeah, it's to the point of what I was saying earlier, which is diversity and dynamism in the box office for me is great. I love seeing a slate of films that are for all these different kinds of audiences.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. Summer is the time when kids are off school, people have vacation, they want to go hang out, have some popcorn, go see a movie. This is like really America's pastime. So I feel like it's kind of nice, and all over the world now, but I feel like it's nice that there's such a diverse slate.
Yeah, I agree. I think you guys covered it, so I agree with them.
All right. What is next?
Bowden P. writes, hey, love the show. I was wondering, with episode 7, with all the attention given to J.J. Abrams and the cast, where does George Lucas figure into all this? Does he have any input? I've heard that eons ago he made a rough draft of what would episodes 7 through 9 would be about. Is Disney following that? And if Disney decides to go in a particular direction with a character like Han Solo, for example, can Lucas override that?
Okay, so officially speaking, George Lucas is a consultant on the moving forward Star Wars thing. That's a nice way of saying he has nothing to do with it anymore, but his name still means something, so we're going to say he's attached in some way. George Lucas did do a rough outline draft that he actually went and talked to Mark Hamill about a couple of years ago. So he did create a rough draft that they then kind of structured their scripts around. Now remember, though, the script for this movie has gone through several revisions and several different writers. So how similar the current working script is that we're going to see on screen is to the original concept that Lucas put together, I don't know. But I have always said this. Despite the fact that the prequels are a big pile of human garbage, besides that, I've always said if you just took like a 6-page treatment of the prequels and looked just at the story structure, I'd say that's a damn good story. That's a really good mythology. There's something, George Lucas is probably the best now and ever at just coming up with an incredible, just overall story. He just needs to leave the screenwriting part and the actual directing part to other people at this point. But anyway, so no, if Disney wants to go in a certain direction with Han Solo, George has got no input. He has no say, he has no authority. He sold his interest in it now. They have him on as a consultant, and they'll probably keep him kicking around just for that face recognition. Anyway, Schnepp?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll get a story by credit, is my guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like story by him, maybe J.J. Abrams or someone else, and then screenplay by 2 or 3 people. Probably 2 at most, depending. You know how they do the arbitration. I don't think that'll happen with this. But
right.
Yeah, I don't think he's that involved anymore. I mean, he said it himself. He's like, he's kicking it, with his wife, having fun, getting all that toy money, growing a 3rd Death Star in his chin. But so I mean, someday I want like that triple-bladed laser sword, as George likes to call it. That would be cool to see. So hopefully that's in the 7th movie. So.
Mary?
Yeah, I think it's a legacy thing, and they might do like a story by credit, and they might also do characters created by kind of thing. When they do that when someone is the originator of a franchise. That's it. I don't think there's anything other than that.
All right, folks, so I said we'd leave a couple of minutes at the end of the show for your live questions via Twitter. You still have a little bit of time to get some in. Fire them off to @AMC Movie News. Chris Lee is the gatekeeper. So, Chris Lee, what are people asking on Twitter?
Sometimes I just have to laugh, but we're going to go with Broadass TV, who says, do you think with the new Star Wars, we could ever see original sequels to Lord of the Rings when Hobbit is done?
Never discount anything when huge money is involved. I mean, look, Peter Jackson said he's done. But he also said he was done after Lord of the Rings. He was not supposed to direct. Everybody forgets now that Guillermo del Toro was supposed to be directing the Hobbit films, and then because of all the delays, he had to back out, go do Pacific Rim. Peter Jackson's back. And Peter Jackson says, okay, no more Lord of the Rings films for me. Well, dump trucks full of money tend to change people's minds. And I think if The Hobbit continues to make billions, worldwide for each successive film, especially this last one coming up, and I really like the last one, then don't discount it. I don't think it'll happen. I think they'll be done with Middle-earth, but I'm not willing to put money on that because the dollar figures involved here are just so big. Mary?
Yeah, you're right. Money talks. Baloney walks.
What part of New Zealand don't you own yet? And what do you want to own, Mr. Jackson? Yeah, I'll take this part, and yes, 4 more appendices and, a bunch of other stuff.
All right, what's next?
Aaron Pacey wants to know, what do you guys think about Big Hero 6 from Disney? Have you liked the trailer, or are you nervous about it?
Let's put it this way. Look, I'm actually very curious about it because I've become predisposed to liking just about everything Disney puts out, to be honest with you. They always find some way to make everything they do clever and cute and whatever. I wasn't blown away by that first little teaser that came out, stuffing his fat robot into a skinny... It was cute. Yeah. It was cute. But I've no doubt we're going to see even better stuff coming from them soon. So I have high hopes for it. I'm just not bowled over by what we've seen so far, but what we've seen so far is very little. Mary?
Yeah, and who knows, we all know that sometimes there's a little bit of, let's just show you a little bit, and then we'll impress you with the actual movie. They might be doing that with this.
Yeah, I mean, there's much more to the comic book than stuffing a marshmallow into armor. So it's interesting. I thought that was a weird decision to, hey, let's show that.
This is a departure from the comic book, yeah.
So I mean, am I interested? Yes. So we'll see. I'd like to see the full trailer though.
All right, what's next?
Sarah Zundel wants to know if you think How to Train Your Dragon 2 has the potential in the competitive summer movie season.
Yeah, I really do. I mean, when the first How to Train Your Dragon came out, I was kind of in the mindset that all animated films suck if it doesn't have Pixar on it. If it's not a Pixar animated film, they generally suck these days. And then Bolt was actually pretty good. And I kind of liked the first Kung Fu Panda. And it was after that How to Train Your Dragon came, and I saw How to Train Your Dragon. I loved
it's so awesome.
How to Train Your Dragon.
It's so awesome.
I love that movie. And one of the things I'm really happy about is how they're taking the approach that they're actually having their characters growing up.
Yeah.
It's been a few years. They're not pretending they're all still the same age and kids. They're actually progressing them in years. I'm curious about it. And you know what really worked for me? This is going to sound ridiculous in the first one. The father-son relationship in that movie I found really special. And where you had Gerard Butler doing the voice of the dad, and it was Jay Baruchel, who I think does the voice of the main character. I think it was great, and I think parents are going to take their kids to it. I think the kids who saw the first one are going to want to go back, and then, 5-year-old adults like me, I'm going to be going back to it. So I'm really excited about it. Mary?
Yeah, I love the fact also as a dog lover that they treated Toothless like a dog. He has all the characteristics of an animal, like a pet. And I love the fact that they create this world around dragons that's so refreshing and new, because dragons have been in lore and books and movies forever. So I'm excited that this franchise is doing well, and I think the sequel is going to do great. I'm going to go see it for sure.
I'll see it, but I'll argue with Mary. It's a cat.
We had this debate before.
The dragon is a cat. I'm a cat lover. These dog freaks are.
No way.
We'll talk about the lesser
do
animal,
a versus.
the dog, later.
Is Toothless
the cat
a dog
is obviously the superior pet and smarter and owns the human. But I can't wait to see. I cannot wait to see the sequel. And I'm a Minions lover. That's what kind of turned me around into like getting more into these kind of animated films. Was like, all right, that was really funny, and I love the Dragons film too. So I'm looking forward to the sequel.
Okay, let's do 2 more.
Terminator would like to know if you can see Daniel Day-Lewis as the Joker in a movie with Ben Affleck as Batman.
Oh, God, that would be amazing.
I mean, world's greatest actor.
Yeah, yes, please.
Sure.
Sign me up.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, could I actually see Daniel Day-Lewis doing it? Let's put it this way. Daniel Day-Lewis is, whereas you get guys like Samuel L. Jackson, who I love, doing 63 movies a year. Then you get Daniel Day-Lewis, who'll do like 1 movie every 2 years.
I think every 5.
It's not every 5. He's done more than every 5, but he's very, very picky. It takes Steven Spielberg coming to his house and go, "Would you like to play Abraham Lincoln?"
Right, he's cobbling because he's a shoe cobbler.
He's a shoe cobbler.
He's like cobbling. Tell me about Lincoln, Spielberg. Like, convince
What do you think of his heel?
Yeah. Somewhere cobbling.
It's amazing.
Can you so he's not an actor who goes for the glitz. He doesn't believe he needs glory. Because, the comic book movie roles are sexier now than they used to be. I mean, now it is a thing. Actors, A-listers want to get into these movies. Yeah. That's not what Daniel Day-Lewis cares about. He doesn't care if it would make him a whole load of money. As far as he's concerned, he's got all the money in the world, and he's going to make more money cobbling his shoes than he will in movies.
I drink your milkshake.
I drink your milkshake. And so I really doubt it would ever happen, but I almost swore, I will lose my mind if we ever heard it announced that Daniel Day-Lewis is going to play a Joker.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I think my brain would explode.
Yeah.
It would be the end for me. Because it's like, to your point, he always chooses these really meaty, weighty characters. And it's not to say that comic book characters are not that, because they are. And I think, to your point, that's why a lot of actors are getting on the bandwagon of, I want to play these characters because they're cool.
Yeah.
I just think he goes for something completely different. I just don't think he's on that wavelength.
Yeah. I think Daniel Day-Lewis could play Poison Ivy, and I'd be like,
that would be so amazing.
I want to see that.
I'm in. All right, last question of the day.
It comes from Andrew Curtis, who says, with all the blockbusters that came out this year, or that are coming out this year, will one of them hit over $1 billion?
This year? No, the only film that's got a chance, I think, of hitting $1 billion this year, if that's what we're talking about, is none. Actually, nothing. I was going to say Star Wars, but that's 2015.
Next year, yeah.
I don't think anything's going to hit $1 billion this year. We could be surprised. I mean,
can't think of any off the top of my head that haven't come out yet.
Oh, I know. The Sin City sequel. Because I wanted to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Yeah. I mean, because X-Men's starting to slow down, and that's at 600.
Yeah, it's already in its 3rd week. I don't think it's
probably get 700.
It'll get 7. I think it'll get 7. I don't know if it'll cross. I don't think it'll get to 9.
I think crossing $1 billion is actually kind of rare. It's we hear about it, and it's talked about in the news a lot when it happens, but it doesn't happen that often.
I think 14 times in history.
Yeah, it's not a common occurrence. Right. So.
But next year, 2015, over the next 2 years, between Avengers 2, Batman v Superman, Star Wars, of course. We've got a number of films that can easily cross that mark. All right, folks, that'll do it for us. We're all out of time. Thanks so much for joining us today. Listen, don't forget, lots of great movies playing at AMC Theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all your theater, showtime, and your movie ticket information. If you haven't done so already, take a second and click on that subscribe button. Become a subscriber to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. And don't forget to click that thumbs up button just as a way of letting us know that you like what we're doing here. And listen, if you want an audio-only version of the show, look in the description of this video and you'll find a link to our iTunes and our RSS feed so you can listen to us on the way to work or wherever you like to listen to us, whether you're working out in the gym or whatever. And I also want to thank the people sitting at the table with me. First of all, sitting to my immediate right, she's our very own Miri Jedikin, just back from New York. Miri, where can people find you online?
People can find me at Miri the Jedi on Twitter and Instagram.
Writer, director, freshly back from Comic-Con in Phoenix, Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
Hey.
Jazz hands.
Oh, yeah, everyone in Phoenix. Yeah, you'll love the dry heat. Forget about that. Air conditioning. You can find me at Instagram, at Twitter, John Schnepp, and I won't be here. I'll be in London doing some secret stuff for AMC. Can't talk about it yet, but I'll see you next week.
And, of course, our gatekeeper today, Miss Chrisley Kennedy. Chrisley, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Chrisley, and on YouTube, The Movie Chick with 2 Ks.
And you can find me on all the various social media networks just at John Campea. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. My name's John Campea for AMC Movie News, and until next time, bye-bye.
Hey everyone, if you like this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.